Welcome to Daily Sama. This is Dr. Shalini Bahl, and we are on Daily Sama number 58, I believe, or 59. So, welcome. So, today's practice is about curiosity, and most of us like to think we are curious, and we are definitely curious. We are able to bring that sense of awe and wonder into some aspects of our lives. But at other times when we feel triggered, whether it's online or offline, that's when we tend to shut down or react. And I don't know if you've experienced that. You read something someone said to you, or maybe it's in person in a team meeting, or maybe in a family setting where we can't just stop obsessing about what that person said and what we want to respond back to them. And so today's practice, ask what, not why, is an amazing one to help disrupt um, that default reactivity. So when we feel triggered, whether it's a psychological threat to our sense of identity or belonging or competence, our values, our goodness, the brain is seeing that threat as a physical threat. And you can I can feel it in my body. Like when I read something that's feeling a little personal and attacking, I can literally feel it in my heart. And so the first thing is, of course, to bring in our skills of awareness to notice that we are triggered. And there are no real tigers here, hopefully. And so we can calm down our limbic system and just return to the breath. The next practice next skill we worked with was with compassion, which is about bringing compassion for yourself, that this is hard, this is difficult, and maybe even inviting compassion for the other person. This is a fellow human being just like me. And so depending on the situation, of course, you're bringing in these different mindfulness skills. And then today we'll focus on the micro practice of ask what, not why. Because generally, when we think of curiosity, the first questions that may come up for us are like, why would that person say that? Or how could they do that? Or why am I feeling this way? And the why questions, as I will read the card now, why asks the mind to justify what it already knows. And so why can send us down a spiral of rumination and obsessing with information we already have versus what helps the mind invite new insights and observations. So if you can ask questions like, what are my intentions in this situation? It's immediately grounding for me. Like, okay, before I go here and there and start reacting and defending and justifying, what is my intention within this situation? And then what might be going on for the other person? What are my needs? What are my emotions telling me? So when we invite more what questions, we are broadening the scope of information available to us. And this helps us cultivate a more whole understanding, right understanding about the situation. And with that, then we can proceed with more skillful response. So if you have any situation you want to bring to mind with which we can practice today, uh, with a situation where you need more clarity, it could be interpersonal relationship situation, it could be something that you're experiencing online. So just bring that situation to mind, and then we will do this practice together. So does everyone have a situation with which to work with? Just give me a thumbs up. I don't know, heart, thumbs up. Yes. So I know we can proceed, or do you need a little more time? Okay, I have a situation which is very fresh in my mind. Thank you for that heart. So I know you are all set. Okay, so I have a situation also that I will thank you for your practice, and we're going to do this together. So as always, we begin by returning to our present moment experience. And one way to do that is to invite the mind to settle on this awareness of the breath moving in and out of the body. So, just for these few moments, letting go of that situation and just resting in the awareness of this breath. If you feel the need, you can even deepen your breath a little bit initially. So, breathing in deeply and exhaling with a sighing sound. Placing one or both hands on the chest can also calm the limbic system, help us shift our attention from the mind to the body. And returning to your natural rhythm of the breath, moving in and out of your body. Just allowing your mind, your breath, and your body to be unified in this moment. And from this place of connection with your mind, your body, your breath, inviting to mind that situation where you'd like to bring curiosity, if you'd like to bring more clarity, right understanding. So just seeing the situation very clearly in your mind, and even as you remember what happened, just noticing what's happening in the body. You may feel a little constriction in your breath, in your chest, your belly. So using your breath to still soften the body, just reminding the body that there is no real threat. There are no tigers. This is just a difficult situation. And if you like now, inviting other what questions, whatever is coming up for you, whatever you're noticing, what is immediately drawing your attention, maybe what is happening in my body, what is my body telling me? So just listening within to your body. So just acknowledging what is here without trying to fix it at this point. Acknowledging your body sensations, what are your emotions? The underlying thoughts, and maybe even the patterns of reactivity. What are your familiar patterns for how you immediately react to similar situations when you feel triggered? So just noticing those patterns of your habitual behaviors when you feel triggered, and noticing it with kindness to yourself. Maybe you shrink, become smaller. Maybe you become volatile and react. So, whatever is your habitual pattern when you're triggered, just bringing clarity to that, seeing that clearly. And if it's helpful, returning to your intention. What are my intentions for this situation? For the situation where you're feeling triggered? Maybe your intention is to see with clarity, to gain a deeper understanding of what's happening for you, what's happening for the other person, so that you may be able to then respond skillfully. So, what are your intentions? You can ask yourself, what are my intentions for this difficult situation? Maybe even inviting curiosity for the other person, what might be going on for them. And we can always invite some compassion along with our curiosity when we think of others. What might they be going through? What is their suffering? What are their intentions, hopes, and aspirations? And what are your needs in this situation? So you can ask yourself, what are my needs? Unmet needs in the situation, to be seen, to be heard. And of course, if you like, you can continue this practice even after we end with some journaling, just inviting more what questions. What am I feeling? What am I noticing? What are my needs? What are my intentions? And similarly for the other person, what's going on for them? And then based on this expanded understanding and with more information at hand, what is a skillful action you can take? So, one way we know that we are ready to respond with mindful curiosity is that we don't have that emotional urgency. So, whenever we feel like righteous or we feel like, oh my God, I just need to get back and I need to respond to this person, when you're feeling the pull of emotions and urgency to react, of course, unless there is an urgency and there's a physical threat involved, yes, you do need to react and respond. But most times, what we need is to be able to see more clearly what is going on beyond the surface level of our reactivity. And when we're in the middle of it, it's hard to know that. So just start to recognize that pull whenever we're feeling pull, that this is how it is, this is how it should be. That is a red flag. That is a sign that our mindful curiosity has shut down and we're only seeing through the lens of beliefs that we have. Even what the other person is saying, we are going to be filtering it through the lens of our beliefs about that other person. So that's when this practice of mindful curiosity disrupts our confirmation bias. So doing this particular practice, of course, we also talked about, you know, loving the unsolved questions, arising and dissolving, the different micro practices around curiosity. But this one I find really helpful to expand my understanding of the situation by asking what questions. And then with that more information, we can realign with our intention and see what we can do. So, what might be examples of skillful ways of moving forward then? So, if you had any insights about what came up for you or any questions about this practice, feel free to share it in the message box. Um, but for me, based on my experience in the past, having been in town council and local politics, which was very divisive and emotional, there was trauma, and it was really very hard to stay grounded and to keep that open heart and mind in the middle of so much. But this practice can really help. And some of the actions that I was able to do when when I felt emotionally triggered by situations, even where I felt like I know what I'm saying, I know what I'm thinking based on my mindfulness practice, this is the right thing to do. Doing this practice of mindful curiosity, ask what, not why, generally got me to a point where I would inevitably realize that I do not have the information that the other people have who are reacting so strongly towards me. And so wanting to understand other people. So generally the skillful actions would be to invite more questions about people's lived experiences. Can you tell me more about your experience with the situation? Or can you share more information, what you were thinking? So just asking, getting more information from other people, because we're making assumptions about what they're thinking or saying or their intentions. And these are all assumptions. We don't really know. So really trying to get more information, and then also seeing like who's not in the room. So what information do I need about people who are not here? That, of course, was related to more community-based decisions, where looking at who's not in the room and who can I speak to, what lived experiences do I not know about? And so going and finding different people, different points of view. So for us in our personal lives, that could mean that we speak to other people and get their perspective. And sometimes it just means the skillful action is to not take any action, right? Till we feel that we have landed, that we are in a place of connection with our own inner knowing, and it feels not reactive, but it feels skillful, where I'm still breathing deeply when I'm responding. So look for all of these signs in your body when you're responding to situations. So hopefully that was helpful. That was a lot. Um, but we live in a world, there's a lot happening. There's a lot of urgency around how we can show up skillfully for ourselves, for others. But always remember to take care of yourselves first. Take care of your inner peace, your inner calm, your clarity. Protect that. And then from that place of inner calm and clarity, then we can, move in the world with more sense of curiosity, compassion, awareness. So that's all I have for you today. This month of January 2026, we are focusing on the skill of mindful curiosity. And so if you'd like to join a deeper exploration, we meet twice a month for the Sama Life Circles, where we will be going deeper into what mindful curiosity is and how to use these micro practices in our everyday lives. So if you're interested in that, definitely send me a message and I will be happy to talk to you about that. And let's just end with our prayer of intention. May this practice together be for our benefit and for the benefit of all beings. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for your practice. And I will see you all tomorrow at noon. Until then, stay Sama.